Welcome to Reset Diaries, the podcast where we deep dive on personal narratives of extraordinary individuals who have crafted inspiring tales of reinvention. Have you ever found yourself immersed in a hobby and wondering what if it could be more than just a pastime? Well, according to a Gallup survey, a staggering 55% of individuals express desire to transform their hobbies into a side business. Yet, only 3% have taken that leap. Today, I'm privileged to delve in the story of one such exceptional individual who dared to follow his creative instincts and passion. Joining us is Pramit Ghosh, a multifaceted talent who is an actor, an MC, a voiceover artist, and etc. etc. But this journey of his didn't begin here. After a decade-long career in tech sector, Pramit made this courageous decision to abandon the familiar path and wholeheartedly pursue his love for his acting. Now, what led him to take such a bold step? What challenges did he face? What insights did he gain from this journey? We have a lot to learn from him. So let's hear it from the man himself. Welcome to the show, Pramit.
Thank you so much, Astha, for having me here. And it's an honor and privilege to be doing this with you. And I guess what we are meeting after, I don't know, 11 years, 12 years, something like that.
Yeah.
So really great to at least meet you virtually and also have a conversation at the same time about, what I've been doing. So happy to be here and share my insights and knowledge.
So, Pramit, let's rewind a bit. And I want to ask you, what were some of the core things which defines Pramit before we ask you that why you did what you did?
I think speaking about some of the core things, I think every individual has some sense of what he or she wants to do in life or doesn't want to do in life.
Hmm.
So when we are younger, we kind of go with the flow, whatever parents tell us and whatever society expects from us. And then you go to school and then you take up science. And then you kind of go either into engineering or medical. So that's pretty much the same thing happened with me. And of course, I chose science because I love the subject. But I didn't really take science with the intention of doing either medicine or engineering. So
Hmm.
engineering kind of naturally happened because I fainted at the sight of blood. So medicine was never an option for me. And then you enter engineering, and then you kind of already know that this is not your cup of tea. And then some of my seniors from college told me that if you do an MBA after your engineering, then your CV is going to look really nice, and then big companies are going to come and employ you with a big package. And that sounded great to a 19-20-year-old boy. So then I went ahead and did my MBA, and that's where we met. And then I got into the job. I got placed at Tally Solutions in Bangalore. But coming back to your question, what is it in the core? I think on day one of the job, I knew that I am not cut out for a 9 to 5 job. I'm simply not that person. Um, the intention was always there to do something different, something apart from what we usually do. And the aspiration to be a performance artist was always there because I am a trained vocalist. I've been singing since I was, I don't know what, 3 4 years old. In Calcutta, it's pretty common to
Hmm.
start pursuing something creative at a very young age. So
Mhm.
most of us were into singing or dancing or whatever. And then in school, college, you kind of get into I got into theater. I got into skits and acting and nukkar nataks or street plays. So that hunger of an artist was always there. The willingness to perform, uh, to do something beyond the ordinary. So I think that is what is in my core, to answer your question.
And I believe all actors have this craving for attention and
Exactly.
admiration.
Yes, 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 absolutely.
So then, Pramit, what did you do to satisfy this craving of attention and admiration while you were doing your corporate gig?
So in the corporate gig, of course, once people figured out that this guy is into theater and acting and all of that, so then you become the designated MC of the company.
Ah.
You are MCing at each and every event. As a product company, we used to make a lot of these videos.
Mhm.
So I became the default voiceover artist for all those narrations in those videos, or marketing collaterals. um, and I think another interesting thing, Astha, was that our company, we have a customer care helpline.
Mm-hmm.
So they even made me the voice of that helpline, that voice which tells you that, press one for English, press two for Hindi, and
Oh, wow.
that stuff. So yeah, that was new, exciting, and whenever I felt very narcissist, all I used to do was just call up the customer care of my company and listen to my own voice and feel good about myself. So yeah, it's happened. The company also kind of, as part of employee engagement, encourages employees to step up and perform, or do something. So I think got a good platform also there. So
And you were pretty happy doing all that. Then what happened after 10 years? Like, what made you take this bold decision? You had a good corporate career laid ahead of you. Then
yeah.
what prompted you to just cut it all and go full fledged in your creative calling?
Well, Astha, I think if I have to give one reason, I think something which happened in 2020 which changed all our lives, which is the pandemic.
Mm.
One thing which you said very early on during the conversation is that, an artist always craves for attention and admiration.
Mm-hmm.
You need an audience in front of you, right?
Mm.
And I think during the pandemic, what happened is one fine day we were suddenly told that, stay at home, don't go out anywhere. And
Mm.
then your home became not only your home, but it also became your office. You're
Mm.
waking up in the morning, you're just opening your laptop, staring at a screen all day long, and then you're closing the laptop, eating your food, and going to sleep. That's what life became.
Mm.
Thankfully for me, the pandemic also coincided with pregnancy journey. So my son was born in August of 2020. So and then we were kind of managing both the things at the same time. So suddenly, what happened, Astha, is the people suddenly came out of the equation. Um, Events were still being held. You must be knowing that companies went out of their way to do so many things for their employees
Yeah.
virtually as well.
Yeah.
But virtual doesn't simply have the same flavor as an in-person event. So that kind of made me think. I think the lack of people around me actually made me sit down and think about what I was doing in life, and what I really want to do. And that's when the thought started that I need to pursue my passion and make it into a full-time career. So yeah,
Right.
I kind of took a decision, spoke to my wife. My wife said, I've been anyway telling you this for the last 5 years. You're anyway 5 years late. Why are you thinking so much now? Just go for it. Spoke to
Wow.
my parents, and yeah, that's pretty much what led to it.
So you were not just one of those who just wanted to create content and get admiration, but for you, people connect is also very, very important.
That's true. And yeah, I did actually started a YouTube channel during that time. I made
Mm-hmm.
my first short film. Uh, my wife, she was pregnant, and she was the cinematographer, so she was very kind to help out shooting, the short film. So
Right.
and then I started some of videos of my own for my channel. So I did all of that. But then, as you said, that the drive or the hunger to do something more was always there. So I
Right.
just went ahead, took the leap, and here I
Okay.
am.
So once you did this, what was the most immediate question looming on your head? What next? Was it the financials? Was it what was the most immediate vision or goal, if you can tell us?
So, to be very honest, Astha, I didn't really have any specific goals or visions or anything like that. I think I just kind of gave myself a couple of years
Okay.
to see where this goes. And
Mm-hmm.
I know in such a disorganized industry or disorganized kind of a life, it's also important to not to be too hard on yourself, because you have to understand that all this while you were in a very organized corporate world, and then you're jumping into something which is inherently disorganized. So things
Mm-hmm.
are going to be messy, things are going to be random, and there are going to be days when you're not going to have work. There are going to be days when you have work and you've not got the payment of that work.
Mm-hmm.
uh, so all those things are going to be there for you. So I said, let's just give it 2 years and see where it goes. And at the end of 2 years, if I'm still alive, I think that would be enough success for me, because that means I have it in me to continue and extend it by more number of years. So yeah, I think embracing that disorganized life is one of the biggest challenges which I had. And of course, finding work every day,
Hmm.
no matter whatever it is. Like I'm into multiple things. I'm into acting. I do voiceovers. I do dubbing work. I'm into theater, and I'm into emceeing not only for live shows, but I also do emceeing for Doordarshan. So
Yeah.
finding your next work, so that you kind of, and the more work you do, the more motivated you stay. I think that was probably the biggest challenge once you
Hmm.
started out. And of course, one small challenge, which is, every day, when you're working, one day in a month, you get a lovely little SMS, which lights up your life. So that SMS stops coming. So making sure that, that doesn't create a
Yo,
challenge. Yeah, pretty much that.
yeah. No, you mentioned a very good point that how we live a very structured life in a corporate sector. You have your well-defined KPIs, goals. There's a manager, there's a manager's manager. Everybody's keeping everything in check in place,
Exactly, exactly.
and here you have to embrace like a completely disorganized life, that too in entertainment industry where you are scouting for work.
Yeah.
I can only imagine how challenging it would have been. So I want to ask you then, how did you navigate these challenges and embrace this new disorganized way of living?
So I think one thing is discipline us. If I have to say, and I'm not claiming even remotely that I am absolutely disciplined right now. I think this is also a journey. You kind of figure out
Yeah.
certain things. You are in such a situation that you are having to change the tire of a moving car.
Hmm.
The car should not stop, and at the same time, you need to make changes. You have to make changes.
Hmm.
So I think discipline is at the forefront. That you go out into the field every day, physically meet people, make lists, create your contact lists, and approach them regularly. Keep them updated about what you are doing.
Hmm.
Apply regularly for auditions, and then I think that discipline is very important.
Hmm.
And I think also what I kind of realized a little later also is that you know adjusting to the lifestyle,
Hmm.
that I was in Calcutta. I was of course born and brought up in Calcutta, and then after 12 years outside the city, I'm suddenly back in Calcutta again. So
Hmm.
I came back right to block one.
Yeah.
The same feeling that I had as a college graduate, no money in the pocket, moving around in public transport and meeting people and stuff like that. It was very eerie that way. That
Yeah.
so at that point in time, Astha, I think what is very important is to remind yourself of who you are.
Hmm.
That what, you are not just some guy who failed at everything else and then told himself that, let's do acting.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
You're not that person. You are
Hmm.
someone who has had a very good career in academics. You had a very good corporate career for 10 years, and then you made a choice of putting all that away and pursue your passion. Reminding yourself of that, I think, is very important, because if you believe that very strongly, it comes
Hmm.
across in your interactions with other people. So
Absolutely.
therefore, when I'm meeting somebody for work, my approach is not like, "Ki, please give me some work, please give me some small role." So
Hmm.
your approach is also much more professional. um,
Yeah.
so when I'm walking into a production house, I'm walking in with the, I don't know what's the right word for it, Astha, whether you call it personality, whether you call it aura, but I
Yeah.
think you walk in with a certain sense of self, which
Yeah.
I think helped me to embrace these challenges.
But it's a very good point you said. We
Yeah,
lowball ourselves so much that, oh, I'm not worthy of this. I have to start all over again. I am nothing compared to those who have done some work. But what you said, that to have that sense of self, that you are not just starting afresh, you
yeah,
come from a place of experience and then use those experiences and learnings in your new journey, which
absolutely,
is yeah,
absolutely.
which is great. So, okay, I'll take a short icebreaker question here before we move on to the next
Sure.
section. So my question to you is, which celebrity or actor you follow religiously?
Well, I think there are only two. One is Amitabh Bachchan and one is Rajnikant. And
Okay.
I've been diehard fans of both since I can ever remember. And of course, it's my dream to someday work with them. I think even if I get to work with them for 2 seconds, even in that
Wow.
2 seconds, I think I'll have some learning which will help me in my career.
Wow. Well, I hope your dream comes true. I mean, you are teaching me here right now that we should never be afraid to dream and set those audacious dreams for ourselves.
Yeah, I think we should, because you know what, Astha, I think there are enough number of people around you to say no,
Yeah.
that you can't do it. So
Yeah.
I think that's where I got this belief that at least I should tell myself that I can do it.
What are some of the ways wherein you can establish a very good sense of self-worth?
So I think, Astha, in this department, I'm extremely indebted and thankful to my wife, who introduced me to this lovely practice of journaling. Um, so,
Mm.
uh, and there is this entire concept of positive affirmations. So,
Yeah.
whatever it is that you want to work out in your life, you kind of write them down every single day in your
Mm-hmm.
own private personal diary, sitting in your own private personal space.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like meditation, but you do it diligently, believing what you're writing. So I
Right.
think that when you said talking to yourself, that's what I do. I have some dreams, I have some aspirations, I have some thoughts about how my life should be. I write
Mm.
them in that journal every day, and that helps me to maintain that sense of self. And of course, we are actors. We spend a lot of time in front of the mirror. We are narcissist individuals. We are imagining that we are having an interview with someone, and we are talking. So I think all that helps me to maintain my sanity.
Yeah. I can second on journaling, which I've recently started, and I think it does help in a big way.
Yeah.
Okay. My next question is, Pramit, as per statistics, I was reading that number one reason which holds back people from pursuing their hobby as a job is they simply don't know where to start.
Hmm.
So, what advice do you have for people who want to take this plunge that you took?
I think the number one advice, Astha, that I would like to give is that start. Just
Mm,
start. um, because when we have not even started, there are these demons in our head, and then they keep telling you all sort of nonsense things.
mm,
Multiple thoughts come into our mind. We imagine hurdles when we have
mm,
not even started,
mm,
and then when we actually have started, we discover that 75% of the hurdles we imagined are not even there.
mm,
So I
mm,
think my first advice would be to just start.
mm,
Um, um, the second advice that I would like to do is that once you've started, always focus on keeping yourself upskilled.
mm,
um, Keep learning something. It could be anything. I think theater is something that I feel has been really helpful in my life. Theater teaches you great life lessons. I was in Bangalore, working at Tally, 2000. I looked at all my friends over there. I saw them that every Saturday, Sunday, there was only one agenda: just go to the pub and enjoy and drink and have fun and all that. I'm not putting that down even for an instant. I'm
yeah.
not looking down upon that lifestyle even for an instant. But that didn't give me any kind of satisfaction. I
Mm,
was wondering what I'm doing. And then,
mm,
I remember one Saturday morning very distinctly, I woke up and I said, I'm going to do something meaningful with my life. I
mm,
just went to Google, I typed theater schools near me, and I came across Misfit Theater Group, which is in Bangalore. I I just went there and I said I
mm,
want to learn theater because that's something I have been wanting to do for a very long time.
mm,
So that day, 2013, I was what, 25 years old. I
mm,
decided to upskill myself. I
mm.
could have, in my ego, I could have told that why do I need to learn a new skill at 25?
Yeah.
Or, and then I kind of got into Toastmasters later on, which helped me a lot with my public speaking skills and communication.
Mm-hmm.
And now, of course, when I changed my job, I came into this new line. I'm 33. At 33, some people will be like, okay, I don't need to learn anything else. But I did learn. there are a lot of processes that you need to be aware about when you are starting off as a TV presenter or as a dubbing artist or as a voiceover artist, and things like that. So I think that hunger to learn
Hmm.
should always be there.
Hmm.
Even if for 1 minute you think that you have learned it all, I think that
Hmm.
is the end of your journey as an artist. So that's the second advice I would definitely like to give. And the third is personal branding. Um,
Hmm.
I can go on and on about personal branding,
I
but
know you're big on
very,
that. I would love to hear from you on that.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Astha, you are on LinkedIn. I've seen you very active on LinkedIn. I myself also try to stay as active as possible on LinkedIn. One thing about the entertainment industry is that I don't see people on LinkedIn over there,
Hmm.
and I don't know
Hmm.
why.
Hmm.
I think just the other day I came across Sunil Shetty's profile. He's there
Yeah.
on LinkedIn and he's talking about some good stuff over there, and that made me wonder why aren't actors and technicians and
Hmm.
cameramen and directors on LinkedIn? There are. It has slowly started out, but you know what? Um, at the end of the day, LinkedIn is a professional platform,
Yeah.
and if my profession is that of an actor, of a dubbing artist, or of a theater artist, or a TV presenter, I should be talking about my profession on LinkedIn. I remember, I used to regularly post about all my plays and stuff like that on LinkedIn. And one day, my friend calls me and says, "Why are you putting all these creative things on LinkedIn?" So, so I asked him, "What do you think I'm doing? Are
Hmm.
you thinking what I'm doing is unprofessional? That
Yeah.
is my profession. What else can I talk about on LinkedIn, right?"
True.
So
True.
I think that's got to change. And um, LinkedIn is a great avenue for you to connect with other people in the industry. Because to be very honest, Astha, if there is one thing that keeps this industry alive, it is networking.
Hmm.
um, you have to talk to people, you have to show your face to people, people need to
Yeah.
keep seeing you, because it's all recall value.
Right.
um, uh, and you never know what can work.
Hmm.
I've gone to dubbings as a dubbing artist, and then I've got my next opportunity as an actor somewhere, right? Or even my theater journey was largely like that. I got into a play. Some director who was in the audience saw me, liked my work, called me for the next play, and that's how I kind of worked with multiple theater groups across 10 years. Worked on English, Hindi, Bengali plays. So that connection has to be there.
Because you
And
can create like a ripple effect.
exactly, and that
Mhm.
ripple effect is kind of going to get your next stint, your next
Yeah.
gig.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I also kind of did something, Asta, which I would like to share. I kind of created this brand for myself, which is called PPG Productions.
Mm-hmm.
So, because my thought was that every
Hmm.
person is a company by himself or herself. God has given us some talents and skills, and there are some talents and skills that we acquire in our lifetime. Um, so, if a company can brand itself, why not a person? So, often people read PPG Productions and they imagine that I have opened a production house. So I
Hmm.
tell them that no, I'm not that rich yet,
Yeah.
but I've just created a brand because I can act, I can do dubbing, I can do voiceovers, I can do acting in theaters. I have done acting in serials and ad films. I'm into MCing. I do MCing for Doordarshan. So, and of course, I have been a digital marketing person when I was in my corporate career. So there are a lot of things that I can offer as a person. So whatever I do, Astha, I do it under the banner of PPG Productions. People find it a little unusual when I go and they talk to me for work, and then suddenly I'm offering them an invoice with full
Mhm.
branding of, and then they are pleasantly surprised to see that. And
Yeah.
somewhere I think it registers that, this guy is going about the work in a very professional manner. Small things like these matter. I was telling you about the recall value, right?
Yeah.
These things somewhere matter, that you print your card and you kind of give it to a person. I don't think many artists do that when they are
Yeah.
meeting a director for the first time or they're meeting somebody for the first time.
Yeah.
But it helps, my
Yeah.
take is, why not?
Yeah, so you created this very distinct differentiator which had a very good recall value. I mean, I'm super amazed and impressed to hear of this idea that you give invoices to people for your acting gig. I mean, this is amazing. So three things, if I um, if I have to say, first is just start. Don't wait for things to
Yes.
happen. Second, you said about
Keep
upskilling
upskilling.
yourself.
Yeah.
And third is like really focus on that personal branding.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Asta.
I think these are great lessons. One last question before we wrap up here is that can you share one memorable moment from your journey thus far? I think your journey now since you quit is almost 2 years or coming to two
Yeah, it's
years.
been almost 2 years, 1.5 years kind of a thing. Yeah.
Right. So I would love to hear because I was reading again some statistics that 70% of the people who actually pursue their calling are happier, and they reward they talk about their whole experience more fulfilling and rewarding, and only 10% say it's stressful. So I'm assuming it's rewarding and fulfilling for you. uh, and then I want to hear some memorable moment if you can share with us.
Yes, Asta, it's definitely fulfilling for me. I think one thing I can claim in full honesty is that I get much better sleep at night um, than I ever used to get when I was in corporate life. So I think, you are the owner of your own time. Your time is in
Mm,
your control. And I think because your time is in your control, you can very effectively manage your personal life as well as your professional life.
mhm.
See, you must be knowing more than anybody else, Asta, because you're playing multiple roles, right? You are a daughter, you are a daughter-in-law, you are a mother, you have a profession, you have your passion, and same here as well. So there is a lot of work also on the household front,
Yeah.
which otherwise I would not have been able to manage if I didn't have this flexible lifestyle. So that is one thing which you really feel good about, that when your people need you, you are there.
Right. Well, thank you for sharing this inspiring story with us today, Pramit. I have learned a lot from you. Well, this was my chat with Pramit. He spoke about some fabulous things, but what I really liked was that in all these years, he never lost sight of his core values, continued to hone his craft, and most importantly, didn't get trapped in the societal expectations. He fearlessly abandoned outdated measures of success and living his dream life now. I'm putting Pramit's details below in case you want to reach out to him. For more such conversations, follow my YouTube channel, Reset Diaries, and do let me know in comments what's your takeaway from this conversation.